Computers represent a new tool for today's broadcast engineer. With the products that are available right now, computers are ready to assist in the broadcast studio. As I found from my own experience, computers are capable of much more than ever before. For instance, if you want your documentation to be clear, easy to create, and change as well as easier to find, a computer is just the tool you need. Or, if you want to be able to test circuits before building them and create PC boards in-house without leaving your facility, you too will appreciate the capabilities of today's computers. I've been using a Macintosh computer KTSF for over 2 years now, and have found it to be much more useful than originally thought. Our computer started out as a means of making drawing schematics easier, but soon we found it was useful for much more, such as printed circuit board design, circuit simulations, foreign language subtitling, architectural and studio drawings, and on and on. The engineering department at KTSF has saved both time and money by using a computer, and see even more uses for it in the future. My first experience with a computer and television was when I used my own Macintosh computer to make the video system drawings for a small television studio I was helping to design and build. When I went to work for KTSF, my first project was to design and build a 1-inch VTR remote control system. After having used a computer once, I could not go back to pencil and paper. But I also know I could not get the chief engineer to purchase a computer until it had proven itself useful. So I brought my Macintosh into work with me to create the drawings for the project. Soon the chief was impressed with the speed and quality of the drawings I was producing on the computer. We then purchased a used Macintosh for the engineering department and have since then upgraded it, expanded it with several upgrades. With our current computer system, we can generate large and complex drawings. So far, 8 electronic projects have been designed on this system, as well as all the drawings for our new facility, which is comprised of more than 50 D-size drawings. Depending on the drawing, a computer can save you from hours to days. When updating a drawing, there's no question about the time saved using a computer. Whole sections can be moved or removed with the push of a button. And as for storage, I can store more than 20 or more D-sized drawings on a single 3.5-inch disk, which is a lot easier to store itself. Well, soon the engineering computer became even more useful when KTSF purchased a building to construct our new facilities in. Using the same drafting program I had used to make the schematics with, I made scaled drawings of the existing building, and then we started to make changes. Just as with the schematics, the computer saved a lot of time and effort when making these scaled floor plans. When we came up with a new floor plan, we knew how well it would work, and we came up with over 10 different ones. Within the same program, I made up scaled figures for all our equipment present and planned. Now planning traffic patterns around the equipment was much easier to see with scaled figures. Now that the floor plans were finished, the real engineering work would begin. The audio, video, and control system layouts. Once again, the computer made this much easier. By using a drafting program as well as a database program, I was able to complete the entire design, including all documentation myself. Any suggested changes could easily be made on screen and then printed out. Working with the drafting program and database programs, I would create the drawings as well as the wireless database that was used to make the wire labels and was used during construction. Besides the main drawings, I also made track elevations as well as construction notes concerning connections to the more common types of equipment. And the database included wire colors for the pairs. Of all the uses of a computer, though, within the engineering department, the most familiar one is that of designing electronic circuits. And as you all know, some amount of custom equipment is always needed to make studio operate the way you want it to. As I mentioned earlier, 8 electronic projects have been designed on the computer. But of these, most have only used the computer as an electronic drafting table. But a couple of the latest ones have used a new tool, the logic simulator. Besides being able to test digital circuits before building them, I can also now use proms and programmable logic devices within a circuit. Circuits that seemed too complicated before can now be simulated and tested in a few minutes to hours, with no expense for parts. In fact, I've been working on a logic circuit that now uses 25 ICs. This would be difficult, if not impossible, without a simulator. But best of all, engineers can gain a new knowledge and understanding of the digital circuits they create, use, and repair. Another facet of building your own projects is the design and manufacture of printed circuit boards. Once again, the computer makes this task simpler. Not only can you precisely lay out boards in a short amount of time, but you can also send the PC layout to the board manufacturer right over the phone using a modem. Maintenance is another aspect of engineering that can be and is aided by computers. Computers can also be used for diagnostics. With the advance of technology, the internal workings of today's machines have become more complex and thus more difficult to repair. For example, some machines allow you to check their status through a serial port. This is where you need a computer with the right type of program to test this piece of equipment. Another application for this type of troubleshooting is serial machine control, such as the ES bus. In this type of network, it can be very hard to trace a problem to its source. Decoding these network messages can be difficult but not impossible. With the right information, the desire to learn, and some time, you can create your own programs that can control, test, and/or measure the performance of a serial machine control system. There is at least one ES bus analyzer on the market, but I feel that if you have the time and energy, you can learn a great deal more by creating your own programs. When the production department discovered the engineering computer, they found several new uses for it. At first, it was just used for production forms, but soon the uses grew. One of the most unique applications of the computer, though, is the use of a Japanese word processor to produce Japanese subtitles. The Japanese characters are created and then printed out. Next, they are shot with a copy camera and put into our text. Once inside, the characters are cleaned up and edging is added. Now the graphic is ready for keying over commercials or other programs. We do a great deal of Japanese subtitling, and this has sped up the process considerably, and the characters look much better than when they were done by hand. There are even boards now available for the Macintosh, too, that produce NTSC video and do their own keying. Together, these products can make a standalone multilingual subtitling system at a very reasonable price. As I said at the beginning, the main reason the computer was purchased was for schematic drawing. But now we have found many more applications for the computer in engineering as well as production. By using a computer, we have saved both time and effort, as well as having expanded our department's capabilities. Right now, I'm considered the computer expert at the station, but soon all engineers will need to have a much greater understanding of computers. This includes how to use them as well as how to fix them. Only through the availability and use of computers will today's engineers develop and retain the skills they will need today and in the future. Any questions?
Are you using primarily commercially available software, or have you developed a lot of your own software for this purpose?
No, it's all commercially available. Standard programs off the shelf.
Can you give us an idea of some of those programs?
Well, for what we use on the Macintosh, as for the type of programs we use, the main one for drafting is a program called MacDraft. The main database program we use is a program called Overview. Any other questions? Yes?
Not a question, but a projection. We started implementing at SBE Washington. We are recording on floppy disks every prompt.
As the gentleman was saying, that they've started NBC copying all the data from their proms and their various pieces of equipment. Therefore, if they've experienced like a voltage transient and wipes out a prom, they can just reburn one. We've thought of that, and we haven't implemented it yet, but yes, I think it's much quicker to get yourself back online by having your own information and burners to put it back. Any other question? Yes, sir.
Do you use a lot of print?
First, we started using a wide carriage printer and taping pieces of the paper together. I never liked this a great deal, but it was the cheapest way to go. We've recently, over the last few months, have purchased a D-size plotter, and I'm much happier with the results. Yes, sir?
What software did you use for your PC board?
It's software from a company called Douglas Electronics. They also manufacture the boards themselves. So after you've designed it on with their product, you can then modem it into them, and they will manufacture the board and ship it right to you. Yes?
Are you using your computer for any design as far as programmable logic devices, PLDs or PLAs?
Yes, to a small extent. I've not gotten quite up to speed on them, but it's been a great learning experience for me on the programmable logic devices. There's a program I use called DesignWorks by Capilano Computing up in Canada. In it, you can design your own proms or programmable logic devices and test them on screen. Yes, sir.
What advantages do you find the Macintosh has over MS-DOS systems?
Well, I know I'm biased towards the Macintosh. I've not used DOS computers very much. But mostly it's ease of use and the continuity between programs. They all work basically the same. Like I said, I'm more biased towards Macintosh because I feel that it's a lot simpler to learn to begin with than the MS-DOS. But if any computer would help, other than none. Thank you very much.